Welcome. I'm Andy Nitkin, Director of Education at the Performing Arts School at the Wharton Institute for the Performing Arts, and I'm also the curator of the Salon series. This is our first ever live stream of the Salon series, and we are coming to you from the Wharton Arts Theater in Berkeley Heights. The Salon series, now in its 6th season, was conceived as an informal, intimate concert where we serve wine and cheese, we set up cocktail tables, and we have the performers basically feel free to speak or improvise when it's appropriate. We will try and recreate that as best as possible today here on our live stream. Our performer tonight is Matt King, a new faculty member and a fabulous jazz pianist who's played with some of the greats in the jazz world. On November 8th, we will have our second Salon series with a new faculty member. His name is Valdemar Castillo, and he is a trumpeter. And then longtime faculty member, Mikhail Kuchik, will be performing on the violin on December 20th. At the moment, what I'm going to do now is invite all of you those of you of age, to grab a glass of wine, sit back, have some cheese, some dessert, and without further delay, Matt King.
Hello, is this thing on? Hi folks, Matt King here. Pleasure to be here tonight. That was a piece by the great Charles Mingus, iconic jazz bassist and composer. One of his best known pieces, that's called Nostalgia in Times Square, by the way, also known as Strollin'. One of his most iconic pieces is Goodbye Pork Pie Hat. And had many, many other great pieces. I'm going to do kind of a broad mix of stuff here. That's just like how I like to roll. I'm not sure what camera to look at, so I'm going to split my time between that one and that one. My next piece is actually from the world of Broadway, world of musical theater. For all you students here at Wharton, they're musical theater people. I'm sure you'll recognize this one because it's hot off the press. Came from this show, Knickerbocker Holiday, back in 1938. All right, not exactly hot off the press, but it's a great song. By Kurt Weill. That's W-E-I-L-L for you students, Kurt Weill. This is called the September Song. Yes, I realize it's October, but we're going to sing the September Song. Excuse me. When I was a young man courting the girls, I played me a waiting game. If a maid refused me tossing curls, I'd just let the earth make a couple of whirls as I plied her with tears in lieu of pearls. And as time went along, she'd come my way. As time went along, she came. But it's a long, long while from May to September, and the days grow short when you reach September, when the autumn weather turns the leaves to flame. One hasn't got time for the waiting game. Oh, the days dwindle down to a precious few. September, November, and these few precious days I'll spend with you. These precious days I'll spend with you. All the days dwindle down to a precious few. September, December, and these few precious days I'll spend with you. These precious days I'll spend with you. All right. As Mr. Nick announced, I just joined the faculty here, obviously online faculty at Wharton, and I'm teaching a few different classes, one of which is songwriting or composition, and this is one of my own. I knew I'd written this a while ago, but until I went back and looked at my original music for this, excuse me, I wasn't aware how long ago exactly. It goes back to 1988. I know. I wasn't alive in 1988. I'm too young, right? No, I was alive, and I was just out of college, and there was an election coming up, just like we have now. In that case, it was Bush Sr. and Michael Dukakis. And anyway, I was feeling I think I was just beginning to become aware of politics and being active and being a informed citizen and an active citizen. And I got a little. I was nervous. I was nervous about the election. I'll put it that way. I was a little depressed, feeling a little dark. So I wrote this piece in that frame of mind, and it's called "Has All the Beauty Passed?" Of course, it hasn't, and it won't. But that's the title. This next one, not an original, but I sure wish I wrote it. It's a piece called "The Glide" by Ralph Towner. Ralph Towner may not be a name that flies off the tongue of quote-unquote straight-ahead jazz fans, although he's a founding member of a group that's been around for decades, since the 70s. The group is called Oregon, and they're still around. One might call them probably the first world jazz group, meaning a jazz ensemble, an improvising ensemble that incorporated different musics from around the world into their jazz, their American jazz. Ralph is a great classical guitarist, but improvises on the classical guitar, a great pianist, a trumpet player. He's one of those guys. Plays a lot of things and writes a lot of great tunes for Oregon and on his own solo albums. "The Glide" by Ralph Towner. The Glide by Ralph Towner. Well, as they used to say in the old Monty Python skits, and now for something completely different. This piece comes out of New Orleans, or Nolans, if you want to say it more accurately. I've always been a big fan of New Orleans music, especially the piano style out of New Orleans, as embodied in people like Professor Longhair, not his birth name, by the way. His name was Henry Bird. Everyone knows, or should know, Dr. John, real name Mac Revenack, who we just lost, I think, within the last year, unfortunately. And there's Harry Connick Jr., is very popular, but a great pianist in that style. And there was this guy, James Booker, from Nolans, who was an incredible virtuosic pianist and vocalist, and he wrote some cool pieces. And this is one of his called Keep on Gwine. What did Matt just say? He said Gwine. What is Gwine? I don't know. I think it's slang for going. It's spelled Gwine. Keep on Gwine. Something like that. Gonna go back to one of my songs here. It's been a strange year, obviously, for all of us, most of us, I would think, anyway. Lockdown, pandemic, for many, 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 many performing artists, you know, the loss of 80, 90% of our work, at least playing live. So when someone asked me later, what did you do the summer of 2020, Matt? I can tell them, well, I didn't do many gigs, but one thing I did do is I wrote 100 songs for dogs and cats. No, I'm not making that up. 65 songs for dogs, to be precise, 35 songs for cats. On a whim? No. I did it for money. It was a commissioned work, and I can't tell any more about it because there was a non-disclosure agreement. But anyway, here's one of my dog songs. This is dog number 43. In addition to Nolan's music, I'm also a really big fan of Brazilian music and Brazilian jazz. So this is a little bossa nova. If you're getting upset about the leaf changing and the colder temperatures, just come down to Rio on the beach with me and we'll hang out for a minute and listen to a dog song. All right. Hopefully all the dogs out there listening, at least they're happy. Going to go back to the Great American Songbook here. I'm also going to check the time. There's no clock in this room. Little inside information, no clock. Looks like it's about 7:30. Oh, by the way, if this is like any other performance where I use this thing, people are at home going, what is that thing? It's called a melodica. It actually has a lot of other names. It's called like a mouth accordion or a keyboard harmonica. But like the accordion and like the harmonica, it has little reeds inside that vibrate when you put air through it. So as I said to someone here earlier, as long as you can play a keyboard instrument and you can breathe at the same time, you can play this thing. There's it. Isn't it cute? Oh, and people are fascinated with the tube. What's the tube? Well, there's a little mouthpiece that goes in the end here, and you can hold it up to your mouth and play, but they use a tube if you're going to mount it like I have and you want to have a hand free as an extension so it can get to me. That's all. There's no mystery with the tube, people. Don't obsess with the tube. So, as I said, going back to the Great American Songbook, this is a song I've always loved and always loved to sing it. I don't know what show it's from, but I'm sure you know it. It's kind of about maintaining optimism and, you know, bad things have to happen sometimes before good things happen, that kind of thing. A long time ago, 1,000,000 years BC, the best things in life were absolutely free. But no one appreciated a sky that was always blue, and no one congratulated a moon that was always new. So it was planned that they would vanish now and then, and you must wait before you get them back again. That's what storms were made for, and you shouldn't be afraid for. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, you've got to have showers. So when you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know this cloud contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, you've got to have showers. So when you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. It's so quiet in here. Although there are people here. Not many, but a few. I feel like I'm in a library. Going back to one of my compositions. This is a little more hot off the press. 1994, my chart says. Kind of seasonal. We're into October now, and we have a big holiday come up next month where we all eat too much and then complain about it afterwards. No, it's really about being grateful, right? So I wrote this on Thanksgiving Day back in '94, and being genius with titles such as I am, I called it Thanksgiving Song. How do I come up with this stuff? It's amazing. And of course, I have to read my own song because, it's seasonal. I don't really play it too much. Hydration is important. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. In advance. First Halloween. Let's see, how are we doing on time? Okay. I'm going to go back to the Great American Songbook here. I was reading online that this song actually, the National Endowment for the Arts named this song the greatest song of the 20th century. Not bad. And I know it's probably in the top 10 or maybe even 5 songs in terms of sales, sheet music, recording, so forth. It's been recorded by thousands of artists. It's from The Wizard of Oz. It's Over the Rainbow. I also heard over the years, and I got a little bit of verification online last night, that they actually almost pulled this song from the movie. One of the producers at MGM, Samuel Golden or Alfred Meyer, one of those guys. I think the idea was that the song was too long and it slowed down the pace. Like, the song's pretty, the girl's nice. Let's just cut to the tornado. Let's take the sucker off. And at the last minute, they left it in. So how about that? Sometimes people at the top don't always know what they're talking about. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I dream of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh why can't I? Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? I have so much stuff in here, this thing keeps getting in the way. So yeah, it's probably a good thing that stayed in the movie, in my opinion. Now I have some students here at Wharton taking, as I said, a composition class with me. I also have theory students and jazz theory students, and Joe DeVico, who actually is running sound and video today. Thank you, Joe. We're co-teaching a class called Creative Composition Using Technology. Anyway, and hand in hand with composition goes arranging. And some of the things I've started talking to with my kids about composing is you can have a melody, and it might be a very simple melody, and you might put some very simple chords to it. But you can do, if you know harmony, if you know how to manipulate harmony to your advantage, you can do lots of interesting things with your simple melody. You can reharmonize the song. You can put new chords to the song. The melody doesn't change, or usually not much, but it gives it a whole new context, a whole new kind of emotional color. So I took this piece written by some guy named Bach, German guy, had been dead a long time. And he wrote this beautiful, right, from the first piece in the Well-Tempered Clavier, the Prelude in C. And then, I don't know, about 130 years later, this French guy, Charles Gounod, I don't know how to say his name. I can never pronounce French. Gounod. He put a melody to it, the Roman Catholic prayer, Ave Maria, right? And then it became a new song using Bach's chords, new melody. Now, I took Bach's chords and Gounod's melody and put different chords to it. So now it's all like jumbled up. But you may still recognize it as Ave Maria, my arrangement thereof. I also want to say, before I forget to mention it, I wanted to thank Helen Chapio for, first of all, inviting me to teach online at Wharton, invited me to kick off the series here, big pressure, and Andrew Nitkin for all his help putting this together, and Susan Peterson for helping. And again, Joe DeVico, thank you very much for having me. Hope you're enjoying yourselves out there. This is Ave Maria filtered through 3 different people. All right. Anybody still recognize the song, I hope? By a show of hands? No, I can't see you. So where did Mr. Nitkin go? I just want to get rid of this little object. Thank you, sir. Stage crew. It's a top-notch establishment. So this is going to be our closer. I encountered this song, which is called If I Were Brave. It's written by Jana Stanfield and Jimmy Scott, and I've never heard of either one of them, but they've never heard of me either, so that's okay. The Jimmy Scott, I don't think it's the jazz singer that maybe some of you are familiar with. I think it's a different Jimmy Scott. Anyway, came across this song earlier in the year, actually before the craziness started with the pandemic and everything. There was a vocalist that I work with, a great jazz vocalist here in New Jersey, Jackie Jones. She and I had a church service to play, and she brought this song. She found it somewhere, and we did it at the service, and I became kind of enamored of it, and I took it home. Actually, Jackie asked me to arrange it for her, and I ended up arranging it for myself. But she can still sing it. Anyway, again, this is kind of a shout-out to the kids doing composition or studying theory with me. It's another case of reharmonizing. The song itself, if you want to go Google or go to YouTube and look for If I Were Brave by Jana Stanfield and Jimmy Scott, has a nice melody. I love the lyrics. I wasn't personally crazy about the chords. It's kind of like more in the folk vein, simpler chords. Kids were talking about diatonicism, right? Staying within the chords within a certain key. And just using those chords within the key that you're in. So anyway, that's not how I roll. So I put a bunch of other chords to it, and I hope Jana and Jimmy don't mind. I'm sure they'll let me know if they see this, and they do. Anyway, this is my arrangement of If I Were Brave. Originally dedicated, by the way, I actually did a little home video of this around March or April and put it up on YouTube, dedicated to all our first responders who've been dealing with the COVID crisis firsthand, but really dedicated to anyone, dedicated to people who've lost people in the crisis, people who are actually in the hospitals sick, dedicated to anyone who's fighting some kind of battle and needs to find some inner strength. If I Were Brave. Probably should have some water first. What would I do if I knew I could not fail? If I believed would the wind always fill up my sail? How far could I go? What would I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even if losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you do if you knew you could be anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are the miracles in you and me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even if losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear. Would the voice of courage whisper in my ear, I'm always here. Then I'd be brave and walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even if losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? I can do all things today because I am brave. I'll do all things today because I am brave. I can do all things today because I am brave. I'll do all things today because I am brave. I'm brave. Thanks, folks. Thanks again, Wharton Arts, for having me. Please support the school.
Those of you out there will agree that this was a real treat tonight. What a way to kick off our Salon series, our live streaming. Thanks so much, Matt. That was fabulous. I was getting texts during the whole performance of how great it was. And we're so proud to have you on our staff. I want to remind everyone, please watch the next one, November 8th. We have 2 more, and also December 20th. And go to our Wharton TV channel, and we'll have more events that we'll be running as well. Thanks so much for watching tonight. And I also want to thank, once again, our engineer, Joe DeVico, for putting this together. Did a great job. And look for more of our streaming coming up this year. Thank you. Good night.